My name is Pam Dunwald, and you know, have you ever thought about things like, or said to yourself, or said to someone else, you know, I it seems like all the responsibilities of caring for my aging parents fall on me. I wish my siblings would help. Or how about this? I know I'm the only sibling that lives close to our parents, but I wish there was some way that my siblings could help me, care for our aging parents. And my most favorite one being a nurse, this is the one that we hear a lot from people that are in healthcare. It doesn't matter if they're a dietary aide, a nurse, a therapist, a social, whatever role they have in healthcare. A common theme is, well, you're the one that works in healthcare, so you should be the one to take on the responsibility of caring for mom and dad, because you know a lot more than we do. So if you've heard or said or commented or mentioned any of these things, even if you thought them to yourself, this is what we're going to take the month of September is going to be, is how do you bring your siblings together to care for your aging parents? How do you find out what they're willing to do, not willing to do, what they're capable of, what their zone of genius is? And what about the siblings that live long distance? So we're going to give you a little taste tonight for Tuesday Tips, and we're going to talk about how to help care for an aging loved one while you're long distance. For example, I am one of 5 siblings caring for an aging mom. Linda, our other nurse, your nurse advocate, she is one of 6, and both her and I are the oldest, but she is one of 6 caring for both an aging mom and an aging dad. And so not only have we been nurses for, well over 40 years apiece, but we are right in the trenches with you. We are living your experience. And so we feel very strongly, very passionate about this subject, about helping siblings come together and helping that person that seems to be dedicated to bearing the primary load, to how to help and get your siblings more involved. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we're going to talk about how siblings can help from long distance. So one of the things that people can do is phone check-ins. This is huge. I know a lot of our clients and a lot of people that we've worked with, one of their biggest, concerns or frustrations is their mom and dad call them when they're at work all the time. Linda is a perfect example. Sometimes she would get 12 to 14 phone calls in a day, sometimes only 10 to 15 minutes apart. They were calling her, while she was working all the time. And so we had to implement some of our own strategies that we teach, with Linda and her family. And one of the things, like I said, Linda's one of 6. And one of the things you could do, she has a sister in Florida, and she has a sister in California, and a sister who lives half-time in Italy. And so, and then there are the 2 sisters and a brother that are local. But one of the things is with phone check-ins, what phone check-ins can do, anybody, no matter where you live, can do phone check-ins. And what I mean phone check-ins is getting a designated day and time to call your parents, call your aging mom, or call your aging dad. How are you doing? How are your needs? This solves many, it's a very, very simple thing anyone can do, but it solves so many concerns. Number one, you're hopefully calling them before they need something or they're feeling lonely, and then they just start calling you when it could be a very inopportune or bad time for a phone call. And depending on how needy your parents are, you may need more than one check-in call a day. But if you're splitting this up between your siblings and other family members, maybe even some grandkids, everybody has a designated day and time to call. And a lot of times this anticipates any needs that they may have, that you can address it on when you have the time to talk to them, and not when they're calling you and interrupting you. Because when they're calling you and interrupting you, several things can happen. You get frustrated, you're short, they feel like a burden, and all these emotions start stirring when, it's really not anybody's fault. It's just that they're calling and needing something at a time when is really not convenient for you. And you're also trying to give your best, put your best foot forward while you're doing your job. So this is one of the things that I find extremely helpful. Another thing that an out of town sibling can do is follow the online patient portal. Get access to their My Chart. You can see when their doctor's appointments are. You can see lab tests. You can see notes from the doctor or any other providers, the therapist. You can see and manage these things from long distance, and you don't have to be in healthcare. If there is no one in your family that is in healthcare, or you feel that these notes and labs and things are very intimidating, that's a good time too to reach out to a patient advocate, someone like us that can help you interpret those things, review what you're reading. We do a lot of that with all of our clients. We help them navigate through their patient portal. Another thing that you can do is something very simple, is arrange for meals sent. This is one of my mom's favorite things. Now, my daughter lives an hour away from my mom. I live 4 hours away from my mom. And so what my daughter does sometimes my mom, during one of our check-in calls, she'll say, oh, well, Saturday, I got a taste. And this just happened about a month ago. Oh, I got a taste for shrimp egg foo young. She lives in a rural Kenosha County in Wisconsin, and not a lot of places around her. She's not driving anymore except to town, which is just a few miles, where the grocery store is and where the clinic is in the same little strip mall. And so she doesn't go into Kenosha or doesn't go into these places to get it. So we found a place with a Grubhub. Sometimes not all of these delivery services will get from each restaurant. So we found a restaurant that had the shrimp egg foo young, and then we see what delivery services is associated with them, and it was Grubhub. So my daughter from Chicago was able to call, order it, pay for it. She got a notification when it was delivered. My mom went to the door and grabbed it. Now, mind you, the first time we did this, it was kind of funny, and this was our fault. So when you think about technology, our aging parents don't know how Grubhub or Uber Eats or things like that work. And so the first time we did it, her food sat on the front porch for quite a while because she was waiting for them to ring the doorbell and tell them that her food was there. Well, they don't do that. And so that was an error on our part. So we told her for the next time. Now, when she gets it routinely, she knows now that we'll let her know when it's expected to come, and she just watches for it and she opens the door and gets it. So we had to fix that. We had to tweak that a little bit, but anybody can do this. Same thing with groceries being delivered, arranging for transportation to doctor's appointments. Any of these things can be done from long distance. Another thing is, if you're good with details, you like dotting the I's, crossing the T's. As we get into this month and get into a lot of the this is a big topic, bringing siblings together, but we're going to talk as the month goes on more about identifying your siblings' zone of genius. What are they good at? What are they? What's a time commitment they're willing to do? What tasks are they willing to do? Try and finding everybody, how they can contribute based on their area of expertise. We'll be talking more about that. But if you like working with insurance, or you like problem solving, or getting to the bottom of things, and kind of that detective work, investigative stuff, then maybe you might be the one to follow up with insurance or Medicare issues, making sure that authorizations are in place, and making, working with that. That's another thing that someone can do from afar. The next thing on my list is, schedule or coordinate doctor's appointments. So if you're aging parent, if that's something that you could do to take that off their plate, to ensure that they're getting their appointments scheduled timely, or their annual Medicare exams getting scheduled, that's something that you can do from afar. Now, if you have caregivers in the home, whether it be family, neighbors, friends, church members, or other, community organization people, or if they're hired caregivers, keeping the caregiver's schedule, that's something else that someone can do from out of town, making sure that, mom and dad's needs are being met. The caregivers show up on time. They're getting their tasks done that they're supposed to be done. Someone who's organized and likes to keep schedules, that might be, something up, one of your siblings' a kind of alley, so to speak, or in their lane to keep the caregiver schedule. The next thing is follow up on pharmacy or new medications that are ordered. A lot of times our aging loved ones get mail order, or if they go to the doctor and they get a new prescription and you see that online in their patient portal, you can follow up and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, did you pick up your new medication today? I see the doctor started you on a new medication. Do you have any questions about that? And just checking on those type of things. And last on my list I have, which is just kind of a brief list. Like I said, we're going to be digging into this more as the month goes on, but managing their finances or paying bills. I mean, you can get access to be able to, if your aging parent, if you're not the financial power of attorney, but you're willing to help, you're willing to help your parents pay the bills. Well, ask your parents, ask if you can be added to their checking account, bank account, savings, whatever that might be, as a co-signer. This way you can do online banking and you can manage their bills from afar and get that all set up so that you can be anywhere really and be able to manage their finances and help them pay their bills. So these are just a few of the things that we can do with long distance caregiving. And, caring for our aging parents, it's really a significant responsibility that, often requires the collective effort of siblings. And, you take our family, for instance. There's two people in healthcare. I'm the oldest. I'm a nurse. Then there's my sister who is in accounting. So she handles the bills. She handles all those kind of things. Then there's my sister who is a nurse practitioner. A lot of times she's local. She'll go with my mom to her doctor's appointments. She'll follow up and speak with the doctors on behalf of my mom. Then I have my brother, Mike. He is just in manufacturing, but he lives probably the closest to my mom. And so he will take her garbage out, to the road, for the pickup, water her lawn. She just got some new landscaping done. So he's been watering the lawn, odds and ends, checking on her. If she's got an issue with her BiPAP, he can run over. And if he needs help, either my sister and I can walk him through troubleshooting. And then my youngest brother is a carpenter. So he manages, kind of the maintenance with my son who does plumbing. So between the two of them, they manage the upkeep of any repairs, in the house or out around the house that need to be done. So this is just kind of an example of how different siblings with different strengths and talents can all come together. And I can tell you, as the nurse, and my sister's a nurse practitioner, we don't feel that we're doing everything. We feel that we're doing our part, and we're doing the part of what we're good at, and that's managing the medical needs. And so, but we feel very good about the rest of our siblings doing their part. I can honestly say there isn't one sibling that does more than the other. And this is through a lot of hard work. This is through some, bumps on the road. I mean, how we communicate is through a sibling text chain. And so we have landscaping done. If someone gets a landscaping bill, my sister who manages the finances, she'll pay the bill, send and say, hey, I got mom's landscaping bill. It's $50 a piece. We all Venmo her, the $50 for our share for the month or for the season. And it's all fine and good. And so it might take a little bit for your family to get there. I understand some families, their relationships with siblings may not be as good. And we're going to talk about that. And we are going to have a couple of master classes, 3, as a matter of fact, towards the end of the month, that we're going to go called Bringing Your Siblings Together to Share the Responsibility of Caring for Your Aging Parents. And that's going to lead in. So that's going to be a free master class. And then by the end of the month, for those that really want to dig in, put the plan in place, have us come alongside you, help you with the plan, we're going to offer our complete siblings guide to caring for your aging parents course. And that's all automated on our Your Nurse Advocate Learning Academy. So there'll be, more about that as we move forward. So with that being said, this was our little bit of introduction. If you are a sibling caring for an aging parent and you want to bring your family together, just stay tuned for this month. We're going to have templates, like I had mentioned, for a family meeting. What do you talk about? What the agenda should be? How do you stay on task? We're also going to have templates offered for, an agreement. It's not a legal document, but it's nice because it's all written out with what each sibling is committing to doing, what their tasks are, and what's their time commitment that they're able to devote on a weekly or a monthly basis. So stay tuned for more, but we're real excited. This is a topic that we're really passionate about and really hits close to home for us. So we will see you this month on many of our different social media platforms and in our private Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, come on over. It's speaking out on the speaking out on the care of your aging parents, where we have open discussions, and it's a private group. And so we will see you at one of those things. Last but not least, if you would like to stay in the loop and you're more of an email newsletter type of person, we do have that. You can go to our website, yournurseadvocateconsulting.com. And under free resources, there's a place where you can sign up for our newsletter. So we will see you back here soon. Take care and have an awesome week.